Hello, what's up, guys? It's Will back once again for another fight card prediction. We're here for UFC Fight Night 175, UFC Vegas 8, whatever you want to call it. It is Anthony Smith against Aleksandar Rakic is your main event there. Sorry this is a little bit later out in the week. Kind of real life just got in the way and I couldn't really get out of some of the things I was doing and I was getting back late and there was just no time really to throw my video out there. But I am on kind of vacation for the next 2 weeks from Saturday, sorry. So I will be getting some videos out here and there for the Contender series, which I missed this week, so I apologise for that. And obviously for next week as well. So appreciate you for sticking around. Appreciate some of the emails saying that you're making videos this week. I am. I had stuff to do. I had a daughter to look after that she was running back and forward. She wasn't well. She was ill. So, yeah, real life kind of got in the way. So, apologies about that. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment. I want to know what some of your picks and some of your bets are for this week. But if you can hit that thumbs up, it would be much appreciated. But let me know your picks this week. I always like to know what your picks is as well. So, I actually really like this fight card. I think it's a really good, well put together fight card. Hopefully, it stays intact with everything that's going on. There's always fights falling off and this and that. And I mean, Alex Caceres is on to opponent number 3 this week, so it's like it's pretty crazy. It's a little bit. I'm a little bit annoyed with that because I was going to bet Alex Caceres against Giga. Actually, I thought he had a good opportunity to win there, so maybe it turned out for the best that that fight got scrapped. But no, we're going to start now. Fade Caceres, nah, never. Not when he's coming off beating Chase Hooper and he's plus 200 again. Never. I think he was going to beat Giga. I think he was going to edge out a decision in that one, but it is what it is. We're going to start off in that. I don't know where this fight's going to be in the grand spectrum of the card here, but I'm going to just start off because that's what I see on Wikipedia. So it's Alex Caceres against Austin Springer. For some reason, I thought, like, I faded Austin Springer before, but it was a different Austin. I think it was Austin Speedy or Tweedy. Austin Tweedy, that's the one. Where I faded him there. But this Austin Springer, I was like, how do I remember that name? And I remember all the way back to the Ultimate Fighter where he got beat on there. And I was like, yeah, I remember who this kid is now, Dana White Contender Series. And then I remember he beat Giga. So, yeah, like I say, he's been away for over 2 years. Since that win over Giga Chikads, he's been away for over 2 years. So I'm a little bit interested to see what's been going on. Buffo, what's up, my man? I hope you're well. Coming off a couple of fights, a couple of wins there. Lost to Julian Rosa, lost to Steven Seidler. So he's lost to a couple of fairly serviceable guys. Guys that have lost a few fights themselves but are tough. Veterans of the sport as well. But he's got a Caceres here. Like I said in MMA Huddle this week that, I mean, Caceres is probably nearing 25, 26 fights in the UFC, which is pretty crazy considering his records, 16 and 12. So he's predominantly a UFC fighter. He's a guy that UFC, I think, will always keep about because he always seems to do enough to win fights, move himself forward. This one here, I actually think that he's got a good opportunity to kind of win 3 in a row, which I don't think he's done in the UFC, is win 3 fights in a row here. I'm not, from what I see of Spring, I think he's tough, he can hit hard. I think that Alex has got the range on him a little bit. Like I say, he won't take it to the ground, so he will give Austin Springer an opportunity here. But like I say, with the way these kind of fights been going during this whole coronavirus bollocks, these guys that are coming in short notice are usually coming through. So you had your Justin James and you had Aguilera who's on this card. So there's guys that have just been jumping left, right and centre and winning fights. Would it surprise me? I know, because Alex Caceres loses a lot of fights. Like I said, I don't know what the betting line is. I don't even know if they've got a betting line up for this fight yet. I'll not be betting Alex Caceres at plus money. I like him, minus money. I like him when he's at plus dog money like I got against Chase Hooper. But I don't see any lines out there. But yeah, I'm going to take Caceres. You can never really be too confident in the guy, but the Speedy coming in here, Springer, sorry, coming in here on short notice. I don't know. I think Alex Caceres is very veteran savvy. He's been around a long time. He's been in the UFC a long time. Fairly decent in the feet. I think he can keep it there and edge out a decision. I don't think he'll knock this guy out, but I think he will win a decision. Sean Brady against Christian Aguilera. I really like Sean Brady. I really do. I really like him as a fighter. I think he's a well put together fighter. Very, very solid. Very serviceable in many, many areas. And I'm seeing a lot of people initially when it came into this fight week, I thought I really like um, Sean Brady inside the distance. The kind of longer the fight week's going on, I'm thinking, well, you look at his record, you watch some of his fights, he's not really adjacent for really going for the finish too much. So I'm a little bit kind of worried of that. I'm seeing some people like, if you got the plus 210 or plus 215, I think is what that line open for inside the distance. That's decent in my opinion. Aguilera, to me, I think he does fade a little bit, and I'm thinking that that's why Sean Brady can get him out of there and not go to decision like most of the kind of fights with Aguilera. But Aguilera, I mean, he came in there super short notice last time out, looked very, very good, and he obviously got the finish there and very, very quick. But Anthony Ivy's absolutely terrible. Like, he was really bad. As soon as he get hit with the one shot, he's just like, oh shit, I'm in trouble here. And he knew it from the get-go, and he knocked him out. But the guy's got a tanky, he can move forward, he's obviously got some power. I just think Sean Brady, in my opinion, is too well-rounded for him. I think he's a really good prospect, is Sean Brady. They're doing the right thing here, build him up slowly. He's going to start to get that step up in competition. I mean, going from Court McGee to Nadev, everybody seemed to be, a lot of people seem to be on Nadev last time. I'm like, there's no way this guy stops takedowns. And I was just so surprised that I got him at underdog money in that fight. You could kind of see clear as day a pathway to victory. I like him in this one. Like I said, I'm a really big fan of Brady. Hopefully we see, like I said, slowly give him the step up here. He does everything very well, very fluid on the feet, can mix in takedowns. I think his jiu-jitsu's solid. Like some of these guys that have been coming in, like Sean Brady, Joe Solecki's another guy that I'm going to keep a really close eye on. I think he's a really good talent. I think the more he's in the UFC and the more he's kind of in fight camp, he's going to make big improvements. I see that kind of with Sean Brady here. So I'm going to stick with my initial feeling of him getting Aguilera out of there in the early to mid stages of this fight. I just think he's a little bit too well versed everywhere. I think once Aguilera starts to maybe gas a little bit, or I don't know, maybe not gas. This is a hard one for me. I'm going to go with my gut feeling of him winning inside the distance, but for the most part, Sean Brady really does kind of win by decision. So I've got Brady in that one there. Polyana Viana against Emily Whitmire. Toss a coin, see which sides it lands on. I'm going to go with Viana, even though I've got zero confidence. You've got a girl who's, I mean, she's supposed to be a black belt and she's getting smoked inside a minute by Veronica Macedo. And saying that, it was a beautiful armbar. Can't take that away from her, but you would think it being a black belt, she would kind of know. And saying that, if you get caught in a good move and it's just in, there's no point in it and fighting it and losing your arm to it. I could look at it that way as well. I mean, she kind of came into the UFC, I don't want to say with a lot of hype, but she had a little bit there. She was obviously a good-looking girl, got the win over Maya Stevenson. They did that. Like, she was one of the worst female fighters I think we've ever seen in the UFC. Then for some reason, I think she was plus 300 or something, a favourite over JJ Aldridge. I bet JJ in that spot plus 240. No idea how the hell she was that big a favourite in that spot there, and thoroughly kind of got outstruck a little bit. It was a close-ish fight, but I thought JJ did more than enough to win that one. Hannah Cyphers, I thought she had an opportunity to win that fight. Hannah just did enough, in my opinion, even though I think Viana landed more strikes. She was keeping the body a little bit, but the resilience of kind of Cyphers kept her in that fight. And then, like I say, she got subbed very, very quickly against Macedo. Whitmire, I think, fought the better calibre opposition, and not looked great in those spots there. But like I say, these are two girls, in my opinion, very, very similar level in the UFC. Though I don't think they're that far away from kind of both not being in the UFC. And I mean, our last loss, she's coming off against Amanda Hebas, which in hindsight, when you look at that there, that's not a bad loss whatsoever, because Hebas is going to progress up the division, and she looks a fairly good fighter. So to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I've got no real confidence. Viana was the gut when I was watching some fights in these girls, so I'm going to go Polyana Viana. She could get her out of there, like I think it was Moise said, by sub. I kind of like that as well. I think she's got an opportunity. I think the odds be quite high for that as well, which would be nice. But like I said, I won't be putting my hard-earned cash on that fight. No way, Jose. But I've got Polyana Viana for the win. Alessio Di Chirico against Zach Cummins. This one's another fight I think is very, very close to hard to tell who's kind of come out of this with the W. I'm more on the Zach Cummins side, if I'm being honest with you. I think Di Chirico, in my opinion, I kind of tend to think he's not UFC quality, but what is UFC quality in 2020 because there's fighters getting into the UFC you never thought, like this Kevin Kroom that was on there. So, like JT saying that I'm very kind of undecided, but my gut feeling in my initial pick is Zach Cummins. I just think he's a very hard-nosed, grizzled veteran who's been around a very, very long time, fought far better opposition than Di Chirico. And it's kind of, it's just, he's at that stage, and I think he's like 36, 37, so he will start to deteriorate if he's not already, but I still think that he's just a little bit better than what Di Chirico is at this point. I mean, his losses aren't bad losses. The Pereira's one when he came up to 170, 170, that's not a good look, but we all kind of know that now Pereira was probably on something, stronger than ever. The guy's big enough as it is, beat a couple of serviceable fighters in Giles and Smith, and then lost to Akhmedov, who is a tough guy to face. So, Di Chirico, like I said, I had a little bit of promise for him, but I think that, I'm just not sure if he's really kind of UFC kind of standard anymore. And like there was a lot of moaning in his fight against Kevin Holland, where he thought that he should have got the win in that one, and then he lost pretty convincingly to Muradov, who I think is a really good prospect. Close fight, but for me, I'm going to go Zach Cummins. But the youth of Di Chirico could come through in this spot. I just see this being really close. I see this being very close in the judges' scorecards. So I'm going to edge just the work rate a little bit of Cummins. I don't think Di Chirico can take him to the ground. I think that if Cummins can put his output just a little bit more, I think he can land and just kind of win these closest rounds. But like I said, I've got no real confidence in that pick either. But I'll take Cummins for the win there. Mallory Martin against Hannah Cyphers. This, to me, in my honest opinion, I think this betting line is fucking way off. I don't understand how... Let me bring this line up. I don't understand how you can cap Mallory Martin at minus 345. I don't know whether it's just a complete fade. Everyone's on a complete fade of Cyphers because of the way she's lost recently. And you can see why. Like, it might be high, but not to the extent where Mallory Martin, who really is not a great talent and not the greatest fight in the world, is a minus 345 favourite. I mean, you look at who Cyphers has lost to. Agapova, we can kind of put that out the window because she just got blitzed there, but you can see why that happened, because Agapova is very, very, she's very aggressive, and if she hits you with a big shot, she's very long, she can jump on the back. We've seen that, and you've seen when she can't get that off, she fades. So yeah, Angela Hill was just outclassed on the feet. Like, she's very stationary as a fighter. She's not good at moving around. Hannah Cyphers was really just going around, feinting at angles, really hitting her, and then once she got the one takedown, got to mount and just battered her. Mackenzie Dern fight, she actually, I thought, started... Mackenzie Dern actually, she started well in that fight, was really hitting her. Mackenzie was on the ground, and then for some reason Hannah Cyphers decided to jump into her guard. Just a silly thing to do. And then Agapova fight, she just kind of got blitzed through there. But like I say, this is her fourth fight in 2020. It's her third fight in 4 months. She's not going to be improving, in my opinion. She's not at all going to be making those improvements to like fill the holes in her game, which she's got. Now, when you look at Martin, I was looking at her wrestling, because that's obviously, in my opinion, what she's going to use here. Because she is a wrestler, she likes to grapple. And Hannah Cyphers is susceptible to getting taken down. To me, the best takedowns that Mallory Martin's got is from the clinch. I think she has to get in close. And I think that Hannah Cyphers is very, very strong in that area of not getting taken down. She's just naturally strong little girl. She's a strong woman in that spot. But she could maybe drop down, go for a double leg. I think she goes out with her own win. I'd be surprised if she's not using more kind of wrestling techniques other than the clinch takedowns. But she could go for a couple other different takedowns. Like I said, I am going to pick Mallory Martin because I'm never going to go against a Martin, a surname, except for Tony Martin, because fuck Tony Martin. Anthony Rocco Martin, fuck him. But I think Hannah Cyphers is live at the odds she's at. I think that this fight could end up being close. If she stuffs some takedowns, I think Hannah will kind of beat her to the punch a little bit, could maybe mark her up. But I'm going to pick Mallory. But if you're betting this fight, the shot has to be on Cyphers, in my opinion. I don't understand why you even want to parlay like a minus 345 in Mallory. But yeah, I'm going to go Mallory for a decision win there. But hopefully Cyphers wins. I would love Cyphers to win. She's a sweetie of a girl, but yeah, maybe she's just not UFC caliber. Maki Pitolo against Impa Kasanganai. I like Impa. I do. I think this is a tough fight. But when you see everything, one of the things I like is he gets better as the round goes on. He's long. I just like I say, I'm looking forward to see him coming through the UFC. I'm surprised they really matched him up so quick. I think this was supposed to be a fight that was supposed to happen last week. Got pushed back. Pitolo, to me, you just can't trust him now. I mean, I picked him like a complete asshole against Darren Stewart, and he gets guillotined inside. Not taking anything away from Darren, because that was a kind of sweet guillotine in that one. What did Rocco do to me? Nothing. I don't know. There's some fighters that I can't take to. He's a guy that I just can't take to. So, and then he went and changed his name to Rocco, and I was just like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Just stick with Tony. None of this Rocco bollocks. Away you go with that shite. But I've got Impa. I've got Impa in this one here. I like everything that he does, really. And like I say, the experience is obviously on Pitolo's side. He's got big bombs. He's a guy that really doesn't like to take many back steps as Impa. He likes to try and use his range and him be the forward target. If Maki can really clinch him up against the cage and maybe start to unload on him there, I think that he could have some success. But Impa, to me, is very, very strong, very, very, very clever, very smart fighter. So I just think that he's going to outwork Maki and land the shots that's going to be done there. So yeah, Kyle, like I say, the Maki pick was, in hindsight, it wasn't bad, but when you get in there and get starched and that quick by a guillotine, especially off Darren, I'm not taking anything away from Darren, but if you're looking at possibilities in that fight, you're not looking at Darren Stewart to win via a guillotine in that spot. Like I say, I like a lot from Impa. I like his body work. I like his just his forward momentum. I think this is a really good addition. I think the UFC did the right thing by not bring them in after that first win in the Dana White Contender Series, let them mature a little bit, then come back a year later, looked far better than that fight a couple of weeks ago. So I've got Impa to win via decision here. I've got him via decision, yeah. Magomed Ankalaev against Ion Cutelaba. We all know how this fight went down. They were supposed to fight a few weeks back. I think Ion caught the virus. So this is about the fourth time this fight's probably been attempted to put back together. We all know how the first fight went. I was a little bit not enraged, but I was a little bit pissed that the ref stepped in there. But if you're acting a bit of a clown like Cutelaba was, you're kind of giving the ref the opportunity to jump in. And some of these refs will absolutely just jump in at any opportunity to get themselves in there, pretty much, and when they don't have to. Cutelaba's first round a bust, in my opinion. I think if he doesn't catch Ankalaev with a big shot, Ankalaev's really going to pick him apart with his striking. He's far cleaner, far more technical, good at spatial awareness, and Cutelaba gasses. There's just no doubt about it, and we've seen that in previous fights where the Glover fight, I thought he started off well, faded off in the second round, and then Glover got to him. I've got Ankalaev via stoppage in the kind of later part of this fight, second, third round. Like I say, Cutelaba's going to come out strong here, and we're going to see him. Like I say, there's bad blood between these two, and I'm looking forward to just seeing what Ankalaev does, because, like I say, there's new vigour at 205 with John Jones relinquishing that title and getting out of that division. Everybody's got the opportunity to win that belt, in my opinion. So I've got Ankalaev, and he's one of the guys I think that will come through and will fight for a belt one day. So yeah, I've got Ankalaev for the win there. Ricardo Lamas against Bill Algeo. I don't think Bill's UFC caliber, but he's come in here on short notice. We've seen him in the Dana White Contender Series. We've seen him kind of get pieced up a little bit by Brendan Loughnane. But Ricardo Lamas just got his jaw broke not long ago. He is 38, 39. But I would be surprised if he's losing to guys of Bill Algeo's level, who is a regional fighter at best, in my opinion. Couldn't really even make it in the Dana White Contender Series. Loughnane's a good fighter, but I don't really think he put up much credence in that fight. I think he was beat up pretty convincingly in that fight there. But like I say, that knockout to Josh Emmett, that's a big knockout, horrible knockout. Then you've got Mirza Bektic, who was a little bit unlucky in that fight, I thought. Beat Darren Elkins, lost to Calvin Caterway. I think he got his jaw broken in that first round there. So he's been out a full year. He's got himself back into fights here. I can't remember who. Ryan Hall. That was going to be an interesting fight. Who did you guys have in the Lamas Ryan Hall fight? Because I thought that had the potential to be kind of close. I think I was edging Ryan Hall, but I wasn't super confident in the pick, obviously. But yeah, I think he's just got a little bit too much here. I think he's got a better ground game. You look at the Aljo's record, 13-4, coming off a win over like a 500 fighter to get back in the win column again, went to decision, was fairly convincing in doing so. And his losses are to like Shane Burgos, Jared Gooden. So yeah, to me, like I've not really looked into this all that much. It was a fight that I thought kind of went by the wayside. I was more interested in the Ryan Hall fight, if I was being honest with you. So I'm going to kind of go on a little bit of Ricardo Lamas here. I think that he'll win. I think he'll use all his experience. I think he'll get Aljo out of there again in the second to third round. I think he's a little bit more versed in kind of every area and probably just tougher in my opinion than Bell Aljo. So Lamas for the win there. Alexa Grasso against Ji Young Kim. I've got Grasso. Line's a little bit higher than I would like, but I think she's like, when you look at, what's her line actually? -310. Yeah, that's steep. But in my opinion, she's going to obviously overcome the kind of reach disparity here. But I think that the fast hands of Grasso are really going to come into play here. I think that she will get inside that reach with just the fast hands. I've always been a big fan of Alexa Grasso. I don't know, I always thought she was a bit of cutie and Invicta coming through. And I like the way she fights. I think when she puts it all together, she's a really exciting fighter to watch. She can land that high clip. Obviously, don't like their takedown defense. That kind of sucks. I thought she had the opportunity to win that fight against Carla Esparza. I bet in that spot. And you know me, I seem to fade Carla Esparza in every bloody fight and get my arse handed to me. But she was catching up with some really nice strikes, was initially stopping some takedowns, just couldn't really stop the majority of them, and then ended up losing a majority decision down in Mexico. The Carlina fight, I mean, Carlina's kind of on her way out, but that's the Alexa Grasso I want to see, where she mixes it up, body, head, throw in some leg kicks, push her against the fence, unload. Now, that's going to be tough to do against Ji Young Kim, who likes to kind of move forward herself. And like I say, she will use that length to her advantage. But I just like the fast hands. I think that her footwork's too good. She's going to be in there and she's going to hit some strikes on Kim and win a fairly comfortable decision. Like I said, I would like the betting line. If she was probably below -250, maybe -225, I'd probably think about maybe parlaying up, because I've got no bets for this card as of yet. But she'd be something I'd be interested in putting a parlay, but not at -310, no way. But I've got Alexa Grasso for the win there. Robbie Lawler against Neil Magny. I'm going to pick Robbie Lawler. Fuck it, why not? I'm actually a really big admirer of Neil Magny, for the simple reason I was actually watching some of the highlights of the season he was on. I think it was a pretty boring season. Dana went in the house. He was kind of ripping the fighters for the boring fights. And I mean, Neil Magny, when you look at him, he's got no... he's got nothing that really stands out. But you can see that he's worked his backside off to become a top 15 fighter in the UFC. And if you would have asked me during that run in the Ultimate Fighter that he would be a top 15 fighter in a really good division at welterweight, I would have said you are like off your head. I really would. But he's really made himself into a really good, hard-working, hard-nosed fighter who really gives his all in every single fight. And like I say, to me, I like this is the kind of fight here that can make you look really stupid, because when he's faced top caliber opposition, he went down by the wayside. He's got knocked down. He's got beat up a little bit. Now, has Robbie Lawler really went that far down where he's... I mean, what I'm trying to say is this is maybe the easiest fight. Oh, that's disrespecting Neil Magny. The easiest fight that maybe he's had in a long time has Robbie Lawler, and I mean, I'm saying that in all respect, because Magny I think he's a ranked guy at welterweight, but when you're facing your Rafael dos Anjos and you're facing your Colby Covington, to me, there's a lot of things in Magny's side here that can could probably win this fight 30-27. But I think that once he takes a shot from Robbie, I think his game plan will start to kind of go out the window. I don't think he'll want to clinch up with Robbie. Robbie is really hard to kind of take down. I know he's been taken down numerous times. Dos Anjos got him down. Covington's obviously got him down a load. But they're two pure wrestling guys. And Magny, I mean, he puts it all together, uses his length really well, rebounded well after that Ponz and Nebula loss, beat Li Jingliang, where everybody seemed to be on the Jingliang side, hand up, me included. And then everybody seemed to be really wanting to try and fade him against Anthony, that Rocco Martin dude that I was mentioning earlier on. So, I mean, like I say, I know kind of the risk with this fight because Neil could come out here and win a 30-27 decision. I've got no doubt about it. If he puts his game plan and it comes to fruition, I think he can win this comfortably. But I very much doubt he's going to hurt Robbie in there. So Robbie is going to be live for the 15 minutes of that fight, and we know that he can turn it on and he can land some killer blows, and he is a very intimidating guy to fight in that division. So, like I said, I'm a big Neil Magny admirer. I like his work ethic. I like that he's really tried to push himself to be the best he can be. But to me, this is a jump up for him, and he's made that in the past. I mean, your Dos Anjos, your Mayas, your Ponzinibbio, he's fell by the wayside. Now, Robbie is depleting a little bit. There's definitely, he's definitely on the tail end of his career, but he's achieved everything that he really wanted to achieve. Got himself the belt, had some unbelievable fights in there. I'm going to take Robbie Lawler. Dog or pass. My brother, is it Goobs72 saying there, dog or pass. To me, I would rather take the shot on Robbie Lawler and try and see if he can use that big aggressive attitude and come out there and beat him up. So, yeah, I'm going to pick Robbie Lawler for that one there. But I do see a path to victory for Neil Magny. I'm going to go with Robbie in that one. Anthony Smith against Aleksandar Rakić is her main event in this one. Interesting fight. I'm a little bit on the side of where Anthony Smith is like, are you coming back a little bit too soon after? In my opinion, that's what I call a life-changing kind of knockout stoppage in that last fight. And in saying that, he started off the fight brilliantly. He was using his range, pecking his shots, hitting the slower opponent in Glover. And then really all it took was one shot from Glover to really change the fight. And once he did, I mean, there was just 10-8 rounds galore. There was probably points of that fight where the corner should have stopped it. The ref definitely should have stopped it. But Smith kept on working. Rakic, in my opinion, was very unlucky against Volkan Ozdemir. I thought he could have got the opportunity to get his hand raised in that one. I actually thought Rakic was... like I said, I don't think it's a bad loss for Rakic. Volkan is, in my opinion, now that Jones is out, he's probably around that top 5. Obviously fought for a belt. He's fought some of the top guys in that division. But like I say, 205 is wide open now. I think it's going to become a very, very competitive division. And this is maybe why Smith's coming back in here. I'm not saying he already had the fight scheduled, but there's going to be new vigour with every light heavyweight in that division because it's fresh, it's new. Everyone's going to have an opportunity for the title. Anthony, this is to me is a close fight. I think, again, let me bring up the betting line here. I think the betting line at -270 is a little off. I kind of cap Rakic around about -200, maybe -225 in that range. And I think I've seen him in the -300s at points of this week. So, but I do like a lot of Aleksandar Rakic's skill set. I think he's, again, I said this earlier on, a well put together fighter. You can see that he's making kind of gains in his skill set every fight. But I still think there's some green tendencies in there. And not green tendencies, I don't know what I'm talking about there, but there's still some things that I still think he has to get better on to become an elite fighter in the division. I think he's got the opportunity to be an elite fighter in this division. I do. I think there's Ankalaev, there's Prochaska, who I think will win some big fights in the UFC. I think Rakic, Reyes, Blachowicz has put himself in the position there. So there's guys coming through. Jamal Hill is going to be a guy that probably comes through and does well in that division. Rakic, to me, I really like everything that he does. Smith, in my opinion, I think he is a little bit live in this fight, but I think Rakic will start to take over. One of my favourite performances, and I think it will be for a lot of people if you watch some of Rakic's previous fights, is his Ledet fight. I remember betting on Rakic in that spot, and he went out there and looked amazing in every aspect. Big leg kicks, really crisp, solid punches. Ledet did not have a clue what to do in that spot, and got his ass beat badly. And then, I mean, he's came forward. Let me bring up his record here. Aleksandar Rakic, that knockout of Jimmy Manoa, that was sick. That really put the nail in the coffin of Jimmy Manoa's career, in my opinion. There, where caught him with a massive head kick, poleaxed him badly. The Devin Clark fight, I actually thought he was a little bit too aggressive, in my opinion. There, ate a couple of shots, got dropped a little bit, but then still got the guy out in the first round there, and that's what you're supposed to do when you're facing guys like Devin Clark, and you're supposed to be a prospect coming through. So to me, I think that Rakic is the crisper guy. I think he can mix it up a little bit more. I think that Smith will try and maybe make this a striking affair, and I just think the better striker and overall striker, in my opinion, is Aleksandar Rakic. So I'm going to pick Rakic via decision. Like I say, it's over 3 rounds. 5 rounds, I think he would have got him out of there. But what is the props actually for Rakic via decision? That's something I might actually look at now that I just said that. So, but Rakic is my pick. I do think he's an underdog. I think he's a dark horse in that division where he could come through. But I think, depending on how Smith starts, this could become a really close fight. But Rakic, to me, has to be the pick in that one there. So that's my picks, guys, for UFC Vegas 8. I apologise once again for getting this out on a Thursday. But like I said, life just kind of got in the way. But I did get there eventually. Like I said, I go on holiday for 2.5, nearly 3 weeks. Coming up at the weekend here. So I will get my videos out probably on a Monday. My Contender Series one's out on a Monday as well. Thank you to the guys that are in the chat there. I really do appreciate everything you've been saying. You've been letting me know your opinions. I really do appreciate that. To all the people that give me a thumbs up, I really do appreciate it. If there's any late stragglers in there that would like to give Old Man Willie here a thumbs up, it would be very much appreciated. And until next week, guys, thank you very much. All the very, very best. I hope you cash all your bets this weekend. And take care. Enjoy the weekend when the fights come along. Peace.